I just want to tell you that healing is not a moment, okay? Breaking the truth. It's not a breakthrough cry. It's not journaling your way into healing or even a therapy session where everything just makes sense. It's literally 2 years of confusion, purging, crying, spells, and slowly, very slowly, but surely, the start of understanding yourself. And I'm going to tell you what actually worked for me and also what made it worse. Because nobody talks about that part. We gotta talk about the good and the bad, because the bad highlights the good. I think there's this misconception of healing as if it's a destination. Like one day you wake up and your past just doesn't affect you anymore. And that's not really the case, because the past doesn't disappear. Like it does not go away. But I can say that it no longer is the leader, and you learn to see it clearly and use it as a tool. And what I'm seeing, like, the problem is that most people avoid the work entirely, or they do it in ways that keep the cycle and the spinning going, which typically will keep a person in the same place instead of moving forward. So what I'm going to do is walk you through what my healing process was like, or is like, what helped, what didn't help, what I've learned, and like where I am now with my healing journey. And this isn't to give you a blueprint for you to copy per se, because I'm a firm believer in take what you need and leave what you don't. But I just want to open you up to seeing that there is a way, there's layers, there's a process, and whatever those layers and that process looks like for you is always true. And I want to remind you that even if you feel like there isn't a way, because there is. It might not be fully my way. It might be my way, someone else's way, and another way all combined for you, okay? Whatever works, it works. So let's go. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because this is what we talk about here. And it's a safe space. And I want you to know that it's a safe space. And I want you to know that I have everything structured for you. You can check out my playlist where you will find videos on your mindset, past, your identity, your environment, and your actions. And these all will help you transform into who you truly are. So I'm going to break this down into 3 parts so you can kind of see my perspective and kind of get in my head a little bit on like what healing has looked like for Shania. So healing has layers, okay? What works in the beginning of the process is not what's going to always work later when it comes to healing. The first layer usually is just getting into the feel of naming things, because a lot of the trauma that we've went through in our past and patterns, they have names, they have labels. And when you can identify something by the name and by the label, you can understand it a bit more. And that's where therapy came into play with me. It helped me put words to experiences that I had been carrying that I didn't know what these things were, and like the pattern recognition of these things and how it affected me in my everyday life due to my behavior, like my choices, decisions, and crash outs, if you want to call it that, outbursts, things like that. But naming things is just the beginning. That's just the safe space to stepping into healing. I think the deeper layer is what happens when everything gets quiet and you have this moment to isolate. Take it, okay? Take it. If isolation comes upon you in a way that seems like all the relationships around you are starting to go crazy and all kind of things like that, and you just want to break in peace of mind, take it and watch how things start to show up in your awareness, because you start to see things like patterns, automatic responses to things, and you start to see wounds that don't have like obvious memories attached to them. And that requires a different kind of work. You got to be ready for that, honestly. You have to be ready to step into that, because that's when shit gets real. Therapy is going to be your best friend in that situation. And I'm sure some of you have tried therapy and like you didn't go all the way, you didn't really get into the thick of it, or you have journaled and maybe in the moment it did relieve you emotionally, but nothing fundamentally shifted. And that's not failure. That's just the first layer to healing. That's just the surface level. Let's get deeper, because there are more layers underneath, and they all need something different from you. They all need their own attention, and they need something different. So first, I want to say, when it came to my healing process, these things have happened in a very natural way, where it was like it was set up for me to walk into the next stage. And on the outside, it might look like chaos, even for myself. But now that I'm as aware as I am about things, especially in my life, I see how like my navigation is going in the right direction. Again, why I like to express things from lived experience, because I think teaching can be by the book, but it also has to be by, what has been actually applied, if you're following me there. But I started with therapy first, and I opened up a can of worms like I was not ready for, because I decided to open up about the things that scarred me the most that I could remember, like what I had actually experienced and been through. And once that can of worms was open and I talked about everything, life circumstances happened. I wasn't in therapy at the time. And so I was stuck with all these bottled, I was stuck with all this emotional buildup from opening these wounds again while dealing with like circumstantial things. And so like it was a rodeo. It was a rodeo. So maybe the first year and a half I had gone through that loop again, but it just seemed like that loop was like slapping sense into me more than it was like slapping me to hurt me. Like it wasn't like, let's beat you up, girl. It was like, wake up, girl, look, 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 look. And that's how stuff was coming at me like back and forth. But in that moment, I was also growing spiritually. So I was like, you have to grab this stuff by the balls and like be ready for it. And so my response to things, I started to catch patterns. And then there came the isolation where I intentionally chose to isolate because I just wanted to have a moment of groundedness and get back to myself. But I didn't realize how that isolation also was a part of the healing because it started to reveal things that I didn't even know had left a mark on me. Like just things that were programmed in me, things that I was carrying that I didn't even realize I was carrying. A lot of stuff that just was not mine. And in that space, I started to do shadow work. And I want to say I've been journaling since maybe like 2019. That's when I actually started journaling. And I still have all of my journals from then with everything in it. And over the course of those years from then to now, I've done shadow work where I would go back, read my journal entries and see how, wow, okay, you don't even respond to stuff like that no more. Like, oh my God, girl, this was a problem. You were crying over this. Now look, you're not even, you know what I'm saying? I feel like shadow work is vital. But then my shadow work started to get deeper. It started to be me listening to videos on YouTube that was helping me understand everything that has gotten me here in this space now. So things about my mindset, identity, environment, just everything that I'm sharing now, I was able to learn what these things were, like my patterns, habits, and I started to listen to music a lot less and have a lot of moments of just quietness. Like I traveled for work, so I did a lot of driving with no music, just me and my thoughts. And because I was in such a good mindset and a good space to like not think, intentionally negatively, it definitely benefited me. It definitely benefited me because I was able to just quiet my outer world and listen to what was going on in here. And that helped tremendously. It wasn't pretty every day though. Let's keep it real. Like I'm here to be honest. It was not pretty. There was moments of crying and analyzing and being real with myself, talking out loud like, Shania, yeah, this happened, but this is okay. Like, this is why you're doing this. So that way you don't have to do these things again. Like really like vocally, like being therapeutic to myself, like tapping into that role. And all of these steps, they all did something for me that the other step could not do. Like they all in one way or other were stepping stones, but they were all different and all very vital. And I just feel like it just started to build on top of itself. And I relish in that now, like all of the turmoil that came with it, because I've learned so much. And what also helped is my mindset, like doing these things to help me to become better. Not okay in the midst. Yes, I wanted to focus on like what my outer world would bring me. But the more I got consumed there, the more my outer world got crazy. So when I went back inside and did this healing process and focus there, I mean, I'm the most calm I've ever been in my life. Like, I'm so settled. I'm so freaking settled. But I'm still learning. Like, I'm still in the midst of building these bricks. Like, because there's still things that need work and practice until they stick, until this becomes my norm. Because now I'm in the space of applying all these things into where I've settled as far as becoming who I've always been in the midst of growing up in this crazy world. Now, I want to talk about what made it worse, because we got to clock that for sure, okay? Because I don't want you out here slipping on your pimping. We can't have you doing that. Now, there is this thing that most people will not tell you, this part of healing that keeps you sick, okay? It's not even really healing. It's just dressed up as healing. And it's not because the tools are wrong, but because of who you're doing this work with and how you're using this energy. Because talking about your pain does have value. Tapping into that has so much value. But that's only if the conversation is moving you somewhere, moving moving you to a higher purpose, a higher goal. When you are sharing your story with other people who are also in pain but not actively doing anything about it, y'all are not healing together. Like, duh. Y'all are not healing together. You're just keeping each other company in the womb. That's all. Just keeping each other company. And that's not healing. That's bonding over being stuck. That is trauma bonding, okay? And trauma bonding will get you nowhere but stuck in your trauma and the other person's trauma too. You're not just carrying your own at this point. You're sharing each other's trauma and each other's weight. Y'all are making each other's lives more miserable. And to be real, the people you heal around matter just as much as the work in itself. I was trauma dumping with this person was trauma dumping with me. I'm therapy for you. Most of the time nobody was therapy for me. I'm just gonna clock it. And nobody was actively healing. Like, nobody was healing. Nobody was trying to fix it. Nobody was trying to work towards becoming better. Just sharing and dumping. Same stories, same feelings, same situations, same people, same cycle, same patterns, but nobody moving forward. Nobody. And journaling, I take my hats off to journaling because it let me keep track of my progress in a way, but it didn't help me understand why I was going through these patterns and why I had so much anxiety about things still, even after journaling it out. And I realized purging without the proper framework, that just only allowed for things to continue to come back, to continue to circle. It was like I identified these patterns, but I didn't have the necessary building blocks to jump out of these patterns. And the more I started to realize that, the more active I got in my work. So I really want to get deep on what this whole process actually looked like, because I have to be honest and share that, yes, it's beautiful. But yes, it is ugly, but the kind of ugly you love, okay? The kind of ugly that you need. And it's not linear. Healing is not linear. Like, it's going to be, what? But I can say that maybe now you're on a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster, but eventually it becomes this fun ride that you can enjoy that might have a whoa, oh, you get me? Like, ooh, oh, but it's fun. Like, it's fun. And you know how to navigate this. It's going to feel like a mess sometimes. You probably will have, you most likely will have crying spells. You will be releasing, you will be purging these feelings. It's going to come out in anger, resentment, shame, disgust. Okay. I don't know if you've ever had a disgusting, nasty cry. When I tell you I had this, and the next day I woke up feeling like my best self. Like, oh, but I was so disgusted, and not because of me crying in general, but because of disgusting feelings that I was releasing about a certain situation that I didn't realize. I learned this in isolation too. I was holding on to it so bad and I let it all go. You're going to be confused because once all these old stories start to diminish, you're going to feel like, what do I have to hold on to? What do I have to attach to? And none of these are a sign that something is going wrong. This is just what purging looks like. This is what the first stage of healing looks like. You have to clean up all of the baggage and get it out of here all at once. All of it has to go before you can bring anything in that's going to stay and be beneficial to you healing and growing. Are you getting me? I think you are. I feel like you are. Now, the goal is not to stop feeling the past, because the past, that is a tool. That is your best friend now. We're changing our mindset about our past. The goal is to stop being controlled by it. The goal is to no longer have it resurfacing, because there is a difference between feeling something and being ran by it, okay? And healing is what happens in the space between these two things. You start to become a witness to your own patterns instead of just participating in them. So if you are in the middle of this right now and it feels like chaos, let me hold your hand real quick. Let me hold that hand. You are not doing it wrong. The confusion, the emotional waves, the hypersensitivity to your own triggers, that is your system waking up. Good morning. That's your awareness, like, starting to heighten, to turn on, to like tap in, tuned in, turned on. You get me? It's supposed to feel like a lot before relief, because it was a lot. It was a lot that you had to go through. All right. And you have to clean that out. It's a lot. You got to clean out the house. You got to get rid of all this stuff. And then the relief is going to come because the house is going to be empty. Now, that's when people start to panic, because now the house empty. I ain't got nothing. The new things will start to come in. You got to only focus on the things that you want, not the things that you don't want. Okay. And that's when the house start to be like, doo, 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 let me put this over here. Let me put that over there. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, forgive. Y'all, I went through 2 years crying, purging suppressed feelings, confusion, the hyper awareness. I went through all of these things, I'm telling you. And slowly, grace started to replace guilt. The ruminating stopped, okay? No more overthinking and drowning in it so bad and feeling that feeling of this scenario I created in my head is so true and it's real and I gotta hold on to these feelings. No more of that. I'm free. My past is losing its grip on me. Honestly, when I think about the things that happened to me in the past, I have no negative feelings towards it. Like none of it. Honestly, I feel like all of that has shaped, but now I'm just watching how it's trickling out. Like the things that are still present, that still need work, they're getting worked on, they're getting their attention, the light is being shined on them. Okay, I'm nurturing it and I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm giving it what I want to give. And these things are not from a place of shame, but just a place of honest awareness. And that's what 2 years of work looked like for me. And it's not over for me either. I have more in store. Now, healing, shout out to Tony Jones. Healing is not my journey, okay? That's just a piece of the pie. Hey, clock it. All right. And if you don't know who Tony Jones is, she is a beautiful affirmation artist who has used her journey to inspire and change lives. And she's an amazing person. I'm going to link her in the description below. Check Tony Jones out for sure. I adore everything that she has done for me. Healing is not my journey. And if you're soaking up what you need from this, go ahead and subscribe because again, you need some accountability. And that's what we're here for. That is what the channel is here for. Okay, go check out the playlist. Mindset, past, identity, environment, and actions. On deck. We got it. We got what you need. Now, I just want to share this. Like, I don't have a complicated relationship with my past anymore. And I love that for myself. What happened to me happened. It shaped me. A lot of it hurt. And I have so much grace for all of it now in this moment and in this space, including the girl that did not know any better. The girl who stayed too long. Like, I have grace for her. She was doing the best she could with what she knew how, with the tools and resources that she had. And she got me here. So I'm grateful for her. Thank you, Shania. So I want to say this clearly to you, the one looking at the screen. Healing is not always passive. You can't just wait to feel better. And just talking about it is not going to work it all out. Because at some point you have to be honest about what you're carrying. You have to be honest about it. And you have to be conscious about who you're carrying it around and whether or not your process is actually moving you forward. Is your process moving you forward? Is the load becoming lighter for you? Or is it becoming heavier? Or is it stagnant? It should not be keeping you comfortable in the pain. Because comfortable in the pain is still stuck. It's still stuck. And I'm going to say this. Real healing is uncomfortable. I'm going to say that one more time. Real healing is uncomfortable. It is. Yes, it is. It will be. There is no denying that at all. But it's a different kind of uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable that has hope and faith attached to it. It's a comfortable of knowing, believing, and honoring. And eventually this uncomfortable will end. Like, it's gonna end. It's gonna be over. It's gonna wrap itself up. And I am at the other side of that uncomfortable ending. My past no longer has an attachment to me whatsoever. And now I can use it. To share, to guide, and to show others. And not saying you have to do that too, but be that for you. Now it's time to talk about homework. Yeah, turn around, sit back down. We got homework. Don't leave. No. I want you to ask yourself an honest question this week. Very honestly, okay? Am I actually healing or am I just processing? Like, am I stuck in the processing mode? You know what I mean? You're stuck here or are you moving forward? Because there is a key difference. Processing is going over the same stuff over and over and over. Like, we know what the problems are. We know what it is. We know what the trauma is. We know what it did to us. We know. Healing feels like slowly needing to go over them less and less and less until they are not a topic of conversation anymore. You know, we don't beat ourselves up. We don't do that here. We just bring awareness so that way we can change these things. And your honest answer will tell you exactly where you're at and what you need to start working on next. Okay? No need to be stuck anymore. Here is the solution to help you find a solution. I want to share some soft words with you. I want you to know you do not have to be at the ending of your healing journey to have peace with your past. You literally just have to be willing to look at it honestly. And that's what grace with yourself and the commitment to keep going. Okay. You gotta keep going. That's all it takes to start. That's it. Just get the ball rolling. And you've already started. Now it's time to work on the next step to keep you progressing. I love you. I care about you. And I hope you see this in yourself too. Okay. Peace.